Okay, I think we're recording. Okay, I want to welcome everybody to the 2021 Sedalia Area Farmers Market Vendor Training. This session is live, but is also being recorded for those of you that weren't able to join us on this April 8th, 2021. For those of you who are new to the market, we're a nonprofit organization founded in 2009. We're run by a board of volunteers and vendors, and we have a part-time paid market manager who is Brenda Rates. Brenda and I founded the market together back in 2009, and it is our happy place. So we hope it is your happy place as well. We hope that you feel like the market is a family to you, and that if you have any questions, ideas, comments whatsoever, that you can always feel free to come to Brenda, me, any board member to voice any concerns or ideas that you have. We are very open to hearing those. So I'm gonna start sharing my screen here. I hope anyway. Give me just a moment. All right. Okay. So there's our Zoom overview once again. Just a reminder, and this may help offset any questions that you may have during the presentation. We are having what we call a dress rehearsal April 29th. That's a Thursday at 6 p.m. So I guess that makes it 3 weeks from today. Is that right? In the new Core Pavilion. If we have foul weather, which would be severe weather, then we will have it the following Tuesday, May 4th. So I think that will enable everyone. I know I'm nervous about using the new pavilion and how we get set up in there. And so hopefully that will enable us to be ready to go on opening day without looking like we're running around like chickens with our heads cut off. So just an overview of where we have been before. Last season, 2020, was remarkable for everyone. We had, there's our interns there in the upper left corner. And that's when we got to switch from a drive-through market to a modified walk-up market, which we were so excited about. And we have Nelsie working on, I think she's making pupusas there on a site visit. There's 2019 in the upper right-hand corner and in the middle there that's showing how big we were before the pandemic. So it's a good to remind us where we had been before the pandemic began and affected our lives so greatly. And of course, we have on the left-hand side, we've got Ozark Coffee, and we've got Matt and Kim Tennell with Triple H Family Farm on the right. We've got on the lower left, we've got Benita Riley with Back Yonder Farms. And then we have the interns getting a special treat on their site visit at Moe's Hirschberger's farm. And so those are all just a touch of the happy memories that we have created at the farmers market. There's many of our beautiful board and volunteers that have worked at the market. Some of our interns that were with us during our first year, and vendors that have been with us, and volunteers extraordinaire. So I want to give everybody, the board members, a chance to, should we unmute and introduce yourselves? We might save that until the end. Brenda, could you remind me to do that at the end, since we won't be screen sharing? And we have with us special guest partners, Kirk Martin with the Pettis County Health Department. Kirk deserves a huge round of applause with the Pettis County Health Department. Kirk, thank you for working so closely with us through the course of the pandemic and also all the years that you've been working with us to help make sure that we find ways to do what we want to do, but do it safely and within the guidelines. Julie Harris is with Weights and Measures, but she was unable to attend tonight, but she will be with us April 29th at the dress rehearsal, and she will be certifying scales that evening, as well as handling egg licenses. So if you sell by weight, bring your scales for certification then. And also if you are going to sell eggs, that you need to bring a dozen eggs packaged and labeled just like you would sell them at the farmer's market.
And she plans to be there at 5.
Yes.
So she could get those done prior to the meeting.
Yes, thanks, Brenda. So Kirk, I'm going to turn it over to you now. If you'd like to unmute yourself and show your video, that would be terrific.
Well, thank you. I do not have a whole lot to share with you tonight other than if you are doing something different that in the food world than what you did last year, if you have any questions or concerns, whether it meets or is within the guidelines that we have established for the farmers market, then please contact me. I'll give you my contact information. I forget, Brenda, did you tell me, or Bev, either one, that you just have 1 or 2 new vendors this year, possibly? Or are they all pretty much?
So on the Zoom tonight, we no one is new, but we will have some new ones.
Yeah. Yes.
So if you are in the food world, we have posted on this link here the State Food Safety and ServeSafe.com. Either of those provide great safety programs. For most people, the food handler certification for the farmers market will be plenty. But if you're going to try to do something that requires lots of processes with raw meats, then you might want to check with me and see if we need to upgrade you to the certified manager's certification. Otherwise, nothing's changed, and I appreciate all the compliments, Bev. It's been as with everybody, 2020 has been a year I hope to never have to repeat.
Us too.
I spent more time on a phone than I could ever imagine I ever would have. So let's just leave it at that. And again, Zoom, I didn't even know what a Zoom meeting was before January of 2020. So
I didn't either.
If there's any questions, otherwise, the best contact is to contact the health department and ask for me, Kirk Martin. Or I'm going to go ahead, if anybody's got pencil and paper, and you guys could post this later on.
Yeah.
I have a direct phone line at 660-287-8616. And that is a health department cell phone line that always comes to me. Some of you have my personal number, and that's fine to use that. I just don't know that I want everybody using it.
Sure.
Again, that was 660-287-8616 is the health department's cell phone number. With that, Bev and Brenda, unless there's something else any questions out there.
Kirk, you know, in the past that you've come to the live trainings with several handouts. Can you possibly make those available to us to share electronically?
Sure.
That would be terrific.
Yeah. Probably have to do some scanning and emailing, but yes, I could get that done.
Well, if they haven't changed from previous years, Brenda and I could scan what we had. Correct, Brenda?
Yeah, and I think Kirk is thinking, Kirk is thinking a lot of that information will be on these sites,
Okay,
that we shouldn't need a lot of those paperwork. Those
okay,
paper that we've
super.
had in the past.
That is
Is that
fine by
correct,
me.
Kirk?
And I will apologize because my intent was to have a PowerPoint presentation from the health department directed specifically for the farmers market, but that 2020 thing kind of got in the way. And quite frankly, I forgot about it until someone called me this spring and I was like, oops.
No, we're very
So anyway.
understanding of that. And at both of these sites that you can be a certified food handler, I believe the fee is $10. And
One's 10 and one's like 12 or 13. I
Right.
don't remember for sure.
right. And then you would present that to the health department, and there would be a small, what's like $5 fee for
That's if you are a restaurant or a permitted food vendor, yes, but otherwise, just getting that certificate for the farmers market, we're gonna waive the protocol of coming to the health department and doing
Okay.
that part of the process.
Okay, great.
Most people, the food handlers certification will be more than what they need to know.
Okay, terrific.
So,
Well, we'll look forward to going through that then.
Does
and
anyone
of
have any
course,
questions for Kirk?
all right. Again, everybody, I'm just a phone call away. I'd rather help you navigate through something than have to come out and be the regulator. I don't like that part of the job really, but
Right.
it is part of it if I have to. But let's
Right.
get on the front side of everything, and we really try to help a person achieve what they're wanting to achieve. And there's guidelines out there that I may not necessarily agree with, but they're there, and it's my job to make sure that we adhere to them. So other than that, everybody, I'm going to bail out of here when I'm done, and thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Kirk.
Thank
We'll
you,
be in
Kirk.
touch.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, so like I said, Julie with Weights and Measures couldn't be with us tonight, but she did provide us her PowerPoint. And I'm gonna not go into as much detail as Julie normally does, because you will be able to go back and view this video, and we will share Julie's handouts with you. So I'm just gonna give you the highlights as I go through Julie's PowerPoint. So Weights and Measures is part of the Department of Agriculture, and they regulate commerce across the state. And the whole thing is that buyers are ensured that they receive accurate information to compare quantity and price. And you as the vendors are safeguarded from the perception that you're shortchanging the buyers, and also that you're not undercutting yourselves and losing products. So it's important that the quantities that you sell are properly weighed and measured. And there are guidelines as to what items can be sold in what way. Scales to use. Again, this is pretty fine print, but you need to use scales that are legal for trade in direct sales. There's an annual inspection fee that's $17 per scale. And like I said, Julie will be there at our dress rehearsal to certify scales. And if you buy a secondhand scale, you need to be certain that it meets these requirements before you pay money for that. Scales not to use, ones that are marked not legal for trade, and those would be your infant scales, bathroom scales, restaurant portions, postal scales, kitchen utilities scales. Prepackaged items. So prepackaged sales occur when you weigh it beforehand and then you package it. Those items do not have to meet those scales for those items don't have to meet the requirements of Missouri Weights and Measures, because what they will do when they're inspecting is weigh the package, see how you labeled it, and make sure that it is within compliance. So let's say it's a loaf of bread and that you baked it, packaged it, weighed it, and you wrote on the label or printed the label how much it weighed. That is what the Weights and Measures inspector will look at. Not your scale, but to make sure that your labeling is consistent with what the product is in the package. There's legal requirements for labeling. This is very important, and we have some label samples that we can share with you. But the name of the product must be on there. If it can't be easily identified through the package, it's always a good idea to put the name of the product on there anyway. You may think that everybody should know what it is, but not everybody does, so it's to your advantage. A quantity statement, weight, measure, or count, and a statement of responsibility. In other words, that's your contact information, who packaged it, how do we get a hold of you in case there's an issue. Like it says, all bakery products must have a stated net weight, and they must be labeled as such. And then also on your label, I forget where we get around to this, Brenda, but now's as good a time as any, that your ingredients need to be labeled according to the highest volume ingredient to your lowest volume ingredient. So if you're making bread, obviously the heaviest ingredient by volume is going to be your flour. So that's going to be the first thing. And then probably yeast or salt is going to be your last thing that you have on the label. There's different methods of sale for commodities. The produce may be sold by weight, measure, or count, depending on the commodity. And there is, in the handouts that we have for you, there is a chart that tells you how various produce items can be sold, whether it's a dry measure, by the pound, by the single item. Again, that's on the printed handout. For egg licensing, again, we'll put all this information in the SAFM vendors Facebook group. We'll include the fee information. The egg license application will be in there too, so you can just bring it with you to the market dress rehearsal on April 29th. Any questions? Okay, and move right along. Okay, so looking at our rules overview, we always start with the fact that the #1 rule at the Sedalia Area Farmers Market is the golden rule. That's one of the things that makes the market such a happy place to be, is the fact that we try to live this day in and day out, whether it's volunteer to vendor, vendor to customer, vendor to vendor, customer to customer. We just expect that everyone is going to be treating one another like they would want to be treated, whether that's helping get someone set up, helping jump somebody's battery at the end of the market day, just needing a little extra help when you're not feeling quite so good, helping you if you had to be late that day, helping you get set up on time. Things like that are what make the difference between a good day and a bad day. And so we like to make every day at the Sedalia Area Farmers Market a good day. One of the stories that I like to tell is that you need to bring quality to bring them back. Never bring subpar items unless you have them clearly labeled as seconds or bruised or whatever the case may be. That you want to be very transparent with your customers so that they know that they can count on you reliably as a source for their food and that they can trust you. With John Nail, he was a former board member of ours, and he had said to Brenda and I, and nice visit, that he thought that he could just really get all of his produce at Aldi for a lower price. And he wasn't really sure that he was comfortable paying a price that vendors charge at the farmer's market. Because as you guys know, the point isn't just to sell at the cheapest, it's to sell so that you can make a living. And so anyway, Brenda and I pointed out to John that the produce that's in Aldi's has been traveling for days, sitting for days, and the lettuce, the tomatoes, the carrots, whatever you get at the farmer's market was probably picked within the previous 24 hours. And so people are really getting a valuable quality item. And so please be sure that you always live up to that expectation with what you bring to the market. And I do think you guys do a wonderful job of that. So I don't want to harp on that too much, but if you're a new vendor, that's so important. So of course, the high points of the rules that you must produce what you sell, except for very limited pre-approved items. You must be from Pettus and contiguous counties. And once again, that there's very limited exceptions to that. One of the very important things that I want to point out to all the new vendors or prospective new vendors is that we go through a vetting process at the Sedalia Area Farmers Market. We want to know everybody to know that everyone is welcome, but not everybody gets permission to sell. We offer this training so that you can get a good overview of what it means to be a vendor at the farmers market. But of course, if you paid already, but we determined that the product mix that you're offering is already well saturated at the market, then we're probably not going to give approval for you to sell at the market. We want it to be a good experience for you, the vendor, but we also want it to be a good experience for our customers. It's always a fine line to walk. We try to strike that balance between good competition, but also not so much of one product at the market that no one can be successful. So that we started that vetting process probably 3 years ago, Brenda, I would say. And it's a tough one to go through, but that's why we have you complete the application so that we can learn more about you and determine where you would fit in the product mix at the market. Another big one is that you need to open your farm or kitchen for visits. And this is a good thing. It's not an inspection. It's a good thing because it helps us to promote you. It creates greater friendship and understanding between the Sedalia Area Farmers Market Board and the vendors. It helps us to promote your products by word of mouth and on social media. So we will be working with our intern, Kylie, once again, to help set up farm visits. We actually have our first farm visit tomorrow afternoon for the season. And Kylie is actually going to be back with us again this year as an intern, I should say that right now, which we're very excited about. And she will be reaching out to vendors that need a farm visit. We do them every other year to schedule your farm visit if you're due. Just a reminder that we're open 3 to 6 Tuesdays and Fridays. And this year it's in the new core pavilion. It has high visibility where it's at. Of course, it's got a roof overhead, lights, electricity, water, restrooms close by. So I think it will be a wonderful new home for us. And I think the biggest thing about it is that people will know exactly where we're at day in and day out. The only time that we'll need to relocate is during the fair. And they'll know right away that if it's pouring down rain, that we're still open because we're under roof in the new pavilion. So we're very excited about that. Another thing is insurance. Insurance is highly recommended. I think most people can get it as a rider on their homeowners or farm policy. If you're selling food, prepared food, we strongly recommend product liability insurance. It's not that much to add it on, but being without it is not a wise way to run a good business. So if you need some recommendations on where to find that or how to talk to your agent about that, just please let us know. The number one reason that farmers markets have claims is, and it's not so much a factor this year, but it's loose tents. So if you're going to bring tents to the farmers market this year, which is just fine, even though we're under roof, a lot of people like to use it to define their space. If you're going to do that, just be sure that you weight your tent legs before doing anything else upon your arrival. And the recommended standard is 30 pounds per leg. We also have some good examples of tent leg weights that we can share with you if you need that as well. We do not, as a market, collect sales tax. Some people, some markets do, but that is on you. If you have annual sales less than $25,000 a year, then you're exempt. But if you go to the Missouri Department of Revenue website and type in farmers markets, they will tell you exactly where the cutoffs are and how to pay your sales tax if that is due. Pricing is essential on your products. A lot of people underestimate how important it is to put a price on their products, but please, please, please make it clear. So many customers are too shy to ask, and they will just walk on by if they don't see a clear price set out. Like Back Yonder and White Angus have great visuals that you can tell right away how much their products are. And I guarantee that it brings them more sales because of that. And that's not to say others aren't great at it too. Those are just two that come to mind. Another is that no sales before the opening bell with very limited exceptions. If you have a customer that really, really, really cannot browse and wait until the market opens, please come see the market master on duty that day, and we'll see if we can make an exception. I think I may have mentioned, but we relocate during the Missouri State Fair. That's the only time that we won't be present under the pavilion, because they use that for numerous events during the Missouri State Fair, including the Governor's Ham Breakfast, which was the primary motivator for them building the new pavilion. If you need a vendor application and haven't gotten that completed yet, then you can find that on our website, which is sedaliaareafarmersmarket.com, and just click on vendors and click on the vendor handbook. And the entire handbook contains the information that you need, as well as the forms that you need to fill out. And I think that you're to complete every form that's in the handbook, Brenda. I believe that they all apply to all the vendors, correct?
Yes. We will have forms that will be coming out for produce vendors with our Double Up Food Buck, but we have just gotten those. So we'll need to hand those out separately.
Yeah, exactly. So that's an exciting lead in, Brenda, that we are qualified for Double Up Food Bucks again this year, which we're so excited about. We're going to give a little bit more detail on that later. But Brenda, I'm going to hand it over to you to talk about marketing yourself and social media.
Okay. I guess a confession is, while you were just finishing that up, I was on social media posting about our meeting tonight. So when you get there, look at Facebook, and I haven't got Instagram done yet, but I think the importance is that you are a small business, you are a business, and it is so important for your success, not only at the market, but as a whole, to market yourself and believe in yourself. And some of our vendors just really struggle with marketing yourself because they feel like it's them bragging on themselves, and it's really not about that. It is about promoting your business so that you are successful. So one of the ways that we help you do that is encourage you to have your own Facebook page and your own Instagram account. And some of you do that like incredibly well. It's impressive. Pictures matter. Your customers love to see faces. They love to see people. They just for example, I can think of, well, just several of you will use pictures of you on the farm, of you working in the garden, of your animals, and those all we are drawn by what we see in a picture rather than just words. So anytime that you can use a picture, it's essential, really. It's not even really an option for drawing people's eye to your marketing. So I would encourage you to create a Facebook page, an Instagram page, and if that seems daunting or intimidating, we have I can help you. Kylie can help you. We will have hopefully other interns that will be able to help you. And they're just super easy to use. They really don't have to be scary. And so as a market itself, we have a Bev, do you have a copy or a slide of the ones that we have?
Of the social media?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, I don't, Brenda. If you want to just list
Okay,
those,
that's
we'll be
okay.
sure to
Yeah,
put it
so
up.
we have a fan page that's just titled Sedalia Area Farmers Market. It has somewhere nearly 7,000 people that have liked and or following that page. That's where all of our MailChimp newsletters go. That's where we post what you're going to have available every day. The downfall of that page is that you as a vendor are not able to post to that page. So whenever you make a post on your farm page, I probably maybe will see that and I will share it to our fan page. But it is so helpful if you will let me know when you're posting, and I will share it to our page. And that way, though, that group of people, those 7,000 people, will see your post also. Pages that are available to you are one page that's called Sedalia Area Farmers Market Community. You can post on there. That is a page it's a group page. So you can post on there. It's a great place to share recipes. It's a great place you'll notice on there that I just shared something about the monarch butterflies. I'll share more farm related or more community related topics on that page than I will just on the Sedalia Area Farmers Market. So it's what it is. It's a community page, and please take advantage of that. You can share, what you're bringing to the market also, but there's just so many other things that you can do on that page. And then another page that we use a lot and I promote on there is called, if you go to Support Sedalia Local Business, it's a place that you can share your business pages of what you're bringing to the market. So it's what it is Support Sedalia Local Business. So it's not necessarily an information page, but it's local things that are for sale. And I've talked to the admin and they don't really have a limit. So if you shared it 3 times in a day, it's good there. So that's become a really popular page in our community. And then just another page that Bev and I use a lot is to communicate with you is SAFM vendor. And that group is what for vendors that are current. So we clean that page up or that group up a lot. Like it doesn't have old vendors or not even potential vendors. It's for vendors that are currently vendors. So anytime that you have a question for us or for another vendor, that's a great opportunity to use that group. And then we share lots on there as to what's going on, anything that we feel like the vendors need to know. And then we also have an Instagram page that's Sedalia_farmers_market. And we share on there, reminding our customers that market is going to be happening. But I think all that to just say, don't be afraid. You're not bragging. We love you. We want to support you in this community. But we need you to share what you're doing so that we can support you and we can market you. We can't do that without you telling us your story. And I guess that's another thing. People love a story. We want to know why you do what you do. We want to know what makes you get up in the morning when it's pouring rain, or it's, we want to know that as a community. We want to know that we care. So tell those stories. Okay.
There's nothing more satisfying than eating food that you know the story behind it, and also
That's right.
knowing that you're supporting people in our local community by forming a mutually beneficial relationship with them through food. And that's one of the things I love the most and drew me to being involved in farmers markets. So yeah, just there's not really a way to make a mistake in doing that, but just
No.
start trying it. And we have one vendor that we've been encouraging her over and over again, and she'll just share a photo of a tomato coming on, and we praised her. We were so excited because it was so neat to see where her garden was at with things. And that vendor is not with us anymore, but that was one of the things that we just, even something as simple as like Matt, you were talking about flowering tomato plants. Show us photos of that. You guys are good about doing that. But
Or those
yeah,
little half-inch long cucumbers.
yeah, keep sharing your story. Share it, and we'll help you share it. So just let us know. Any questions on social media? One thing I do want to give a shout out for, and I can't remember what their free threshold is. I think it's 2,000 or less users, but we use MailChimp for the farmers market. And the beauty of using MailChimp is that we can create a newsletter, and that we do for each market day, and tell people what's happening, what's going to be at the market. But also, before it posts, it allows us to adapt that newsletter quickly, like in a matter of seconds, to go to our Facebook page, our Instagram page, to Twitter, and all with just a few keystrokes and one button that says send it to all of these platforms, and it'll format it the right way. And it is a super easy way to manage your monkeys, which is maybe why they call it MailChimp. But anyway, we
I hadn't
really,
thought of that.
we really appreciate the MailChimp service. And like I said, I think it's, if you're under 2,000 users, that I believe the service is still free. So be sure and check that out too. Okay, moving right along, if there's no questions on social media. Oh, Brenda, one thing that I had in my notes that I want to go back to real quick about marketing yourself. So at the market, do you want to talk a little bit about stalls and appearance at the market,
Yeah.
and presenting yourself there?
Sure. So it kind of just falls back on what I was just saying about social media, is that your stall is your storefront. And it's going to look very different this year because we're going to be in a very large building. The pavilion is large and it's tall and it's a very open space. And so Bev and I were visiting with Eileen Nichols from Web City, and she's like, "Oh, girls, like that is large." And it just brought to our attention that, like, if you stand in that pavilion right now and picture one like little 10 by 12 vendor spot, like it's almost non-existent. So it's going to be super important to remember that it is your storefront, and you are going to have to graciously and gratefully do things that will draw people's eye to your space. Use color, use banners. We'll just need to be cautious, or not cautious necessarily, but aware of other vendors' spaces. But we want to make sure that the customers see you. And I think it'll help when we're all in there. But the training, Bev and I just did an intense training via Zoom a couple of weeks ago, and we heard again there, and we hear it every year, is set up your space, walk off and act as if you're a customer, and then just walk through the market. And does your space draw the eye? Is it welcoming? Is it beautiful? Does it display what you have for sale? Are your prices easily seen? Some people are super shy, and they feel like if they look at your table that they're making a commitment to buy. So make sure that things are very obvious, and that it's going to be a different experience than it's been in the past in a tent, because you just kind of had your little cubby, where this year it's going to be a much more open air feel than even a tent was. So yeah, I'm just going to encourage you to use color. We can use tablecloths this year, according to Kirk. So that will be a fun thing, because you can use some pop of color with your tablecloths.
And if I could just make a point about tablecloths, is that there are so many cute tablecloths out there that have like farmers market themes, like veggies and whatnot on them. But
absolutely, or baked goods. Yeah.
Yeah. So stay away from those though, because they make your table look too busy and don't highlight your product. So like a gingham check pattern, or a solid pattern,
solid color.
Or a buffalo plaid tablecloth is going to present your merchandise way better than a busy tablecloth. So try to stay away from the busy, and because you want it to just highlight what you're selling on your table.
And Pettis County Health is actually suggesting we use a cloth tablecloth over a plastic or vinyl tablecloth, because the virus is a lot less transferable on a cloth than a flat, shiny, solid surface. So, which is something very different than last year, but the more that we've learned, and is that a cloth tablecloth is much preferred than even over a table.
Right. Thank you. And then also during the market hours, either stand to serve your customers at all times, or get yourself a stool that raises you up to eye level so that you don't have to be on your feet the whole time. But one of the things that just kind of sends people on by, because they feel like that they're bothering you if you're sitting down low behind your table and just a regular chair, is that they don't want to make you get up. And if you're already up either on your feet or you're at eye level with them already, you're much more likely to engage a customer for a sale. So keep that in mind. I think those little stools that we use that we pick up at Walmart are like $15, and they're sturdy, and they do the trick. They keep you up at eye level, or easily get up to eye level for us short people. And that is the way to go versus a chair behind your table. Yeah, I think that's it on that section, unless we have questions or comments. Since we have so many veteran vendors on here, if we're leaving something out, please feel free to chime in and share your story about that as well. So we have a token system at the Sedalia Area Farmers Market. Rule 17 in the vendor handbook says that all vendors will accept SNAP tokens. It's good for you, it's good for the customer. And of course that we need to treat customers that are using EBT SNAP tokens with as much respect and care and love as we do all of our customers. So the wooden token there with a $2 EBT SNAP on it is what our SNAP EBT tokens look like, and we ask that you try to have a few lower price items on your table, smaller quantity, smaller loaves, whatever, to make sure that the EBT customer can spend that whole $2, because you're not allowed to give change for the EBT SNAP tokens. Right next to it with the red X on it is the double up food buck tokens that we used to be able to take. Last year, we were unable to participate in the Double Up Food Buck program. And due to limited funds, it was handled by the Fair Food Network, and their grant ran out that was funding it. They were able to fund just a few markets last year, and we are so happy to announce that we are going to be able to accept Double Up Food Bucks at our market once again. For those of you not familiar with that program, it matches dollar for dollar up to $25 per market day. If you slide your SNAP EBT card at the market tent and get $25 on your card, we can give you an additional $25 in what we call Double Up Food Bucks. We haven't gotten those in yet. They're going to be purple, solid purple tokens, and those can be spent on vegetables and fruits, or plants that grow vegetables and fruits, including herbs. So that program is good for everybody at the market, just not just vendors that take that grow vegetables and fruits and plants, because it helps all of our customers stretch their dollars further at the market. So it's good for everybody. So the EBT SNAP spends just like at the grocery store. Anything that you can spend it on at the grocery store, you can spend it on at the market. Vegetables, fruits, eggs, meats, baked items, plants that produce food. They can't be spent on non-food items like the soaps and the hot ready-to-eat foods and pet foods, any other non-food items that we may have at the market. And then the Double Up Food Bucks, like I said, can only be spent on vegetables and fruits and plants that grow vegetables or food anyway. At the end of each day, you'll turn in your tokens that you've collected. We're in the process of revising this form due to our new fee structure, and we'll be sending out a copy of that so you can familiarize yourself with that. But the form that we have used looks like this and will look very similar to this as we make a few tweaks to it. For market funding information, we try to be as transparent as possible, and we will always be glad to distribute our budget showing our income and expenses every year. We don't want you wondering how much we spend on something. You're such an integral part of this that we really do want to be transparent with you, but we also don't want to provide so much information that it's overwhelming and confusing. So anytime you want to see what our current budget is, copy of that spreadsheet, we'll be happy to send it to you. So our budget is approximately $22,000 a year. That doesn't include the USDA grant that pays for our interns. Only a portion of that is vendor fees. The gap is closed by fundraising, solicited sponsorships. Two of our main ones have been, since the very beginning in 2009, Bothwell Regional Health Center and MFA Agri-Services. And in the past, we've had farm to fork events like dinners and breakfasts. We get a little bit of income off people becoming friends of the market, that they can get a bag and their name on our website for becoming a friend of the market. And then we obviously did not have winter market this past year because of the pandemic. So winter market information will be forthcoming. We obviously don't know what that's going to look like for 2021 and if it's a possibility still, but we'll be keeping you apprised as early and as often as we can. So one of the main changes that we've had this year, I'm going to back up here for just a second, is that our vendor fees are always a annual membership fee plus daily fees. We work really hard to keep the barriers to entry to becoming a market vendor low. But that being said, we're changing the vendor fee structure this year as the Missouri State Fair needs to charge us rent. And this is for the first time ever. They've never charged us for being on the fairgrounds before, but they need funds for maintenance and upkeep. And we also need for them to charge us rent so that they don't kick us out every time they need to use the pavilion. And that is absolutely essential. to that people knowing that that is our home, that they can rely on us being there. So we were very pleased that the Missouri State Fair Board came back with a rental fee of $5 per non-electric stall per day and $10 per electric stall per day. So that is going to be what we pay to them, and we'll pay that monthly to them. And we were thrilled with this because they're going to be garnering rental rates to others for $300, $400, even as high as $700 per day, depending on the time of year. So we were afraid that we were going to have to come up with something like that. And we were really thrilled that their rental fee obviously said that they valued having us on the on the fairgrounds as a local farmers market. So our annual membership fee is still $80 like it was last year, but the daily stall fee will be 3% of daily sales. We looked around, we didn't want to reinvent the wheel, so we looked around at what other markets were doing, what we would call model markets that are sustainable and functioning well, and that they are charging a percentage of sales. So when you do well, we do well. With a minimum daily fee of $10 for the non-electric stall and $15 per electric, and that includes the rental fee that we pay to the fairgrounds. You'll report that on your daily token count form at the end of each day. I personally am nervous about managing the whole new system, and I've been talking to other market managers about programs and ways that they handle that collection. But I think we're going to try it on a monthly basis so that your token count, that check that we send to you each month, will also reflect what stall fees you may owe at that point. So, like I said, the structure fee is new to all of us. I'm nervous, so just please bear with us as we implement it together. And this is when it's really important for you as existing vendors and board members to keep the lines of communication wide open. Please, please, please. So just a reminder of some of the benefits that our vendors receive for their investment in the market. And we realize that it is an investment, and we truly appreciate you and what you put into the market. Of course, our wonderful market manager, Brenda, is the main benefit of your stall fees. But we have a fantastic volunteer board and staff. For the last 3 years, and now one more bonus year, we have interns. We do a tremendous amount of marketing. As Brenda said, our MailChimp has almost 1,200 recipients receiving that the night before every market day to let them know what's there. We'll expect you to let us know what you're bringing to the market. Brenda, do we usually say by noon the day before that they need to let us know what they're bringing to the market so that we can get that?
It has been by 6 p.m. the night before.
Okay, so plenty of time to get that in, but please set a reminder on your calendar to just shoot off an email or a text to us real quick and let us know what you're bringing to the market, because we want to help market you. And people really do open that and read it. We get the analytics from MailChimp that tell us how many people actually look at it. And so we know that at least 200 people a day are opening it and reading it. And it's not always the same 200 people. So they really do care about what's at the market. Some people will just see the email and say, oh, great, markets tomorrow, I'll be there. But others really do want to know. So please let us know what you're bringing so we can share that with our customers. Of course, we'll share that across Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest. The reach on it is just amazing to me, how far it can go sometimes. We also get the analytics back from the social media accounts. And I think that our post that we have boosted about opening day of the new pavilion has been seen something like 20,000 times now. And it is just incredible to me what the reach can be when people are excited about something that's happening at the farmers market, whether it's something that we're doing or something that you're doing that we're sharing. it's huge. So when we all work together, it's there's so much synergy there to benefit everyone. We
Bev,
do, yes, dear.
one other thing that we've not talked about is that we also have a plan with a texting service.
Oh, right,
And
yes.
we'll also send out a text about within an hour of each market, reminding, I think there's a little over 400 people on that receive a text reminding them of market starting 3 to 6. So they get that usually while they're at work, and we'll remind them to stop on their way home.
Yeah, that is actually it's kind of a pricey service, but we really do find that it stimulates traffic. I can tell if I'm the market master at the market that day, I can tell when Brenda sends out the text, because there's always a little bump from that happening and people saying, oh my gosh, I got the text. I'm so glad that somebody let me know because I was going to forget about it. So yeah, good point, Brenda. I need to add that to the list of benefits. So when we do site visits, we share your story. We write up a story, and that vendor bio that you complete helps us to share your story. But we share and boost your site visit albums on social media. And we have columns in the Sedalia Democrat that's either written by us, or Faith Bemis is wonderful to come out and visit the market and report on what's happening and new. Radio, Brenda and I've been down there already at KDRO for, Charlie always wants to know what's happening at the farmers market. He plugs us every day at KDRO, and we visit with KSIS and KSDL, and it's always fun to go. It's always fun to promote you guys. We also go to civic clubs to speak there, Lions Club, Rotary, et cetera, every year. We have the Little Sprouts Children's Area. Teresa, would you want to give us a little overview about what you're planning for the Little Sprouts area this year? Is she still with us?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry about that. I had trouble.
Yeah, no.
So because of the changes with COVID, we decided that we would do an educational program once a month. So we're going to start out with the first one on the first opening Friday for Mother's Day. We'll have a potted plant that the children get actually put the flower in the pot. It's Mother's Day weekend, so they can take that and they will get a little card on how to care for that plant. And then another one we're going to be doing is, I think we've already scheduled it for July the 9th, will be the monarch butterflies. Sorry, my grandfather clock's going off, guys. I want to do one on bees, and I got a couple other ideas I need to follow up on, but something educational so kids can learn all about where plants come from and pollinators.
We're really looking at doing that once a month, correct, Teresa?
Right, and I've picked the first Friday in the month is what I'm targeting. Now July, that was the first one, was the 4th of July weekend. So it'll be the July 9th, will be the following weekend after that. And then we'll hit the first one in August before, hopefully before the fair and before kids go back to school.
Sure.
Thank you so much for your work on that, Teresa. I know that so many kids look forward to being there, and for parents, it's a comfort to watch their children learning something wholesome while they do a little bit of shopping as well. We also, now that the pandemic seems to be hopefully moving behind us, that we'll be recruiting musicians once again. And we obviously have plenty of space for the musicians to fill, and so if you know of someone that would be interested, they need to perform either original music or music that's in the public domain, preferably. And eventually we will have cooking demonstrations once again, as soon as the health department gives us the go-ahead on that. We also on Tuesdays will be doing our $5 found token. We hide a token that one of our former vendors created for us, and kids love to go searching for that one as well. And that's just on Tuesdays. And then this year, we're also going to be working on daily sponsorship packages. And Brian Jenkins with State Farm Insurance is working on a grant with State Farm so that his business and State Farm will be making a donation to the farmers market for our opening day again this year. You may remember him and his son as the T-Rex on our opening day last year at the beginning of the car line, which was a great partnership. We also have partnerships with the Missouri State Fair, of course. They've been wonderful to work with. Bothwell Regional Health Service, MFA Agri Services, as I mentioned before, the Farmers Market Coalition. You too can be a member of the Farmers Market Coalition if you like. The membership is well worth the expense. I want to say it's like $30, Brenda. But it is a wealth of information. Their library that you can look through, best practices from a vendor perspective, best practices from a market perspective. It's all excellent information on the Farmers Market Coalition. Brenda, do you have something to say?
Nope.
Okay, all right. And in the past, we've partnered with the Healthy You program. Many of their students in the Healthy You program have come to do cooking demonstrations for us. And we hope that's going to pick up again this year. We partner with the Missouri Department of Agriculture, also known for farmers markets as Missouri Grown. You can register your farm on there if you would like to help people find you. And then finally, we also partner with the University of Missouri Extension, and Kate Hanlon, the dietitian there, has also done some cooking demos for us. We currently have grants that we have written and are fulfilling right now with University of Central Missouri. Received a huge USDA grant that we partnered with them on almost 4 years ago, and which has provided us with our interns and other things, enough funds to buy things like the iPad. We had to get a new credit card machine this year because our old one didn't meet the protocols. So we got that new one in December. I actually just did the training on that on Tuesday. Double Up Food Box is a grant that we're fulfilling. And we also have a Missouri Grown grant right now that we are using on both of our social media posts, that we're advertising the new location and our opening date. And then also we will, Beth Johnson, our board secretary, and Brenda have been working with Rager Banners here in Sedalia to create new huge banners to hang on market day to call people in from the road. So they'll be able to see that coming from the south on 65, and also they'll be able to see that signage from the intersection of 65 and 16th Street. So we really are creating it so big to hopefully just, they can't miss our signage and know that there's a farmer's market happening. So I think this is the time for questions, if anybody has any, or if you have answers too, that would be a good time to deliver them. So
We were also going to introduce the board members.
oh, right. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing this and then we'll get back to the gallery view so we can see everybody. Okay. So I'm gonna, if everybody can start their video now, so we can see everybody's beautiful faces, that would be terrific. Super. Oh, Brittany, you're muted. And if you could unmute
Just
yourself.
that's so much better.
Yeah, it is so much better to be able to see everybody's faces. So let's see. Matt and Kim, do you want to, as board members, you want to unmute yourselves there and introduce yourselves and tell us what Matt and Kim are one of our vendor board members. Tell us about your Triple H family farm.
Well, I guess my wife doesn't want to talk.
What?
So,
That never happens.
yeah. Yeah, this is a family farm that we both run. We started off doing tomatoes and hydroponics, and we switched that from going from hydroponics straight into the ground. We are now, this year's our first year doing CSAs. So we've really jumped up productions, and that's about it. Not unless,
There's more than that. Goodness, I should have just talked. To
yes,
begin with.
thank you.
We are entering into our, I think maybe our 4th or 5th year with Sedalia Farmers Market. We do more than tomatoes. We are, I want to say most vegetables at this point, some fruits. We do some value added products as well, and then some seasonal products too. I'm trying to think. Besides that, we grow in high tunnels and greenhouses as well as outside. We're located in Marshall, so we're probably about 25 minutes from Sedalia. I think that's about the majority of it at this point. So,
And how many kids do you have?
today,
Today,
we have 7.
6
Yeah.
here.
6 here. Yeah, but we have 7. And then Matt, so 8.
You're getting better all the time, Matt.
I know. Yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
we have 7.
It's a wonderful thing. Thank you, guys. Juanita, do you want to unmute yourself?
I'm Benita Riley with Back Yonder Farms, and we're located between Colcamp and Stover. We've been with the market since 2015, 24, probably 14, 15, somewhere in those areas. And we do pasture raised pork, chicken, lamb, and turkey, and do some eggs. And we'll be having some vegetables and some fruits this year, and do baked goods, cookies, and things like that.
Yeah. The almost famous giant cookies.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
And it's very much a family operation at your place too.
It is a very much a family operation at this place. So we just kind of never know who's going to be doing what. So
Right. And so could you tell us about your family that works with you there? On
my
the farm?
family.
Uh-huh.
Okay. My husband Rich and I live, this is our family farm. Actually, right now it's being run by generation 4, 5, and 6 that's lived here. And our oldest son Levi and his wife Jess live over a little closer to Colcamp, and then our middle child, younger son Zach and his wife Shauna and their son Jackson have a home here on the farm with us. And of course our daughter Taylor, which if you've seen us at market, you've seen Taylor because she's been my right hand for a long time. She's graduating from Northwest Missouri State with an ag education degree this spring, so she'll be at market with us for a little while until her teaching contract takes effect, and then so we'll probably lose her about midsummer. So that's kind of our whole family, and whoever is around does it, and that's how we do things.
Thanks, Benita. Let's see, Brooke, you're alone up there in the corner on my screen. I don't know if they all appear in the same order or not, but you want to tell us about White Angus?
Sure. My name is Brooke White, and my husband and I do White Angus Ranch. It's all grass-fed, grass-finished, 100% natural. No hormones, antibiotics, or GMOs. And how many years?
8.
This is our 8th year selling retail beef, and yeah. So we look forward, and this will be, I think, our 5th year at the Sedalia market. Is that right? 4th or 5th, I don't remember. And he
Right.
doesn't.
We need to look back at the records and see just exactly how long everybody's been with us. Thanks, Brooke. Right below you on my screen is Kylie, our intern, Kylie Garrett.
Hi, so my name is Kylie Garrett. I'm a student at SFCC here in Sedalia, and I graduate in the spring, so I'm pretty excited about that. Woo! And then I'll be going back for my teaching degree. So like right now I'm going for a pre-vet degree, and then I'll be going back for my teaching degree in the fall. And I just kind of do whatever I'm told with the farmers market. So I just kind of show up and get told what to do, and it's great and I love it. So I'm really excited to be back for another round.
We're excited too, Kylie. Glad to have you. Hey, Beth, how about you?
Okay, I'm Beth Johnson. I'm secretary right now. I'm on the board, work on the website, do what I'm told by Kylie on Fridays.
Thanks, Beth.
Yeah.
Teresa?
So I've been with the market for, I think this is my fourth season coming on, and took lead of the Little Sprouts programs, trying to do an educational program for the kids. Just pitch in anywhere where they help is needed, and really enjoy being part of the family, the market family.
We enjoy you too, Teresa. Thank you. And finally, I think we have Marty.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. I'm Marty Yoder, and we work as a family doing fried pies. And this is our third year at the market. And yeah, we stay really busy with them and looking forward to being there again.
We're really looking forward to having you with us again, Marty. Thank you so much. And you want to say something about your family? Marty,
What'd you say?
you want to say something about your family, who all you got working with you there?
We have 4 children, and the oldest one, it helps quite a bit, but the 3 next ones are just in the learning process of helping. They help around just whatever we can find for them to do. But yeah, they're just really a part of our pies. And so they get burned out pretty quick, but they do what they can.
Well, I never get burned out on your pies, so thank you so much. Well, are there any questions before we close down this, hopefully, last Zoom vendor training that we have to do, first and last? So any comments, questions, things that we may have left out that new vendors need to know? I know we're missing several of our regular vendors on the call tonight who just couldn't be with us, but knowing that it was available for video, they'll be watching it in a little bit. We will be, like I said, posting those forms on the SAFM vendors page so that you can have easy access to all of those. Just a reminder, Thursday, April 29th, 5 o'clock for weights and measures, 6 o'clock for the dress rehearsal. So obviously you don't need to bring any product unless you're going to be an egg vendor, but otherwise bring what you need to feel comfortable knowing that how you're going to set up on opening day. So whether it's tables, tents, chairs, whatever the case may be. Also wanted to, speaking of which, Farmers Market of the Ozarks in Springfield has a very similar pavilion to what we're going to be working with. So I highly suggest that you go to their Facebook page and get some ideas on how their vendors kind of fill that space and make their booths look attractive and inviting to the customers.
So those of you that will be pulling a trailer, you may want to bring your trailer that day.
Highly recommend
because
it.
you will be needing to back into an apron around the pavilion on the north side.
Brooke's favorite thing to do.
Yes, right, Brooke? But you won't be side by side. In other words, there'll be a little wiggle room on either side of your trailer, so that will be helpful.
Yeah.
If I was pulling a trailer, I would want to bring it that day just to feel it or, practice.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone that could join us tonight. And we look forward to seeing you hopefully on April 29th. And look to our SAFM vendor page for more information. And we'll be uploading this video to YouTube. So if you need to watch it again, or you know somebody else that needs to watch it for the first time, we will have that link for you to do so. So thanks everybody, and have a wonderful, safe evening. And we'll look forward to seeing you in the sunshine again soon. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.